Supply chain. As you look throughout your entire value chain, there's going to be opportunities to do things more efficiently, to do things in a way that might be more socially just. They can take care of the workforce, not only of your own, but those of your suppliers. And you can do all this in a way that can be not only better for the community and for the environment, but that will save your business or organization money, as well as probably help that organization save money on its end as well. HP, for example, has been a real innovator in terms of reaching out to their supply chain. Rather than having a combative relationship where they're always pushing on their supply chain to reduce costs and give it to us at 5 or 10% less, they established a building initiative called Design for the Supply Chain, which actually encourages and allows their suppliers to communicate and share and implement best practices. Now, what this has done is it's actually helped some of their suppliers in China and Southeast Asia save 380 million kilowatt hours of electricity just by sharing best ideas and practices for how they're managing electricity and energy in their own facilities. And it saved HP over $100 million since 2007. That is real money that they were able to get through their supply chain, not by slamming down, heavy-handed things for cut price, but by encouraging the suppliers to get together and find ways to be innovative and share ideas that also ended up having a massive impact to the bottom line. The City of London, for example, like many progressive cities, was trying to implement a responsible procurement strategy. It was trying to find a way that they could really put their money where their mouth is. If they had lofty community or environmental goals, they needed to be buying stuff in a way that reflected those goals. So they implemented a procurement policy that actually supported the City of London improving their air quality. And by having impact on air quality as one of the decision-making criteria, they're estimating this is going to actually reduce the greenhouse gas emissions emitted within the city by 2 to 4% by 2030. It's going to reduce the material inputs by between 17 and 24% by 2030, and it's actually going to help grow GDP and save them billions of pounds. VF Corp, which has a number of different subsidiaries, think of Vanity Fair, you think of the North Face. Well, they were starting to look at how can we address the chemical processes within our factories, and how can we eliminate the harmful chemicals, not only just in our factories, but in our products, what our consumers are going to be wearing on a day-to-day basis. So they started looking at their different chemical samples, and they found ways that they could remove ones from their supply chain that had toxicity in it. They looked at 900 factories and asked them to participate in the global Chem IQ process. And when they did this, they actually started realizing, well, gosh, we have all these chemicals that we need to submit for screening. So they've submitted over 12,000 since 2013. And they found that each of these tests only costs about $50, which tests about 400 different substances. And by doing this, they've actually removed 500 tons of harmful chemicals from their supply chain and from their factories. So it's not only made the products that people who are buying from VF better, less toxic, but it's less toxic on the employees, and it's probably lowering the impact on those employees at the same time, as well as reducing workers' comp and costs that would, whether the factory pays for it, whether VF pays for it, somehow it's being passed along to the consumer. So it's better for the environment, it's better for the worker, and it saves money. IKEA has looked at the products we serve and that we sell. Let's look at our cotton. And so they've invested, over $1 million, $1.2 million in sustainable cotton farming projects, with the idea of if they can use sustainable cotton that uses, 50% less pesticides, 30% less chemical fertilizer, and even 50% less water, it's going to be better for the environment, but it's also going to provide a product that is going to have better benefits to the end consumer. And by doing this, they were actually able to improve their yields of this cotton at the same time. If you're assessing your supply chain from an environmental perspective, you can do an environmental risk assessment. You can develop a platform for sharing best practices like we talked about with HP and so many others are doing. Most industry associations have a climate or environmental or sustainability project team that is designed to do that so that it lifts all boats within an organization. But there's a number of things you can do, from bulk ordering your packaging to figuring out ways that if you're going to order something through your supply chain, set up your system so that the order gets there sooner, so that you have to ship things by marine or by ground versus air, and just think about ways that you can minimize the transportation, not only the cost, but the location being close to your suppliers, because you can get it there faster, you'll be more efficient, you'll save money, it'll be better for the environment at the same time.